Hi everybody, I'm not here today, I'm away at Knox Academy all day. Really sorry that we're not going into the workshop. I know you'll be a bit disappointed. We will go in next week and we'll make our key tabs then. I've recorded you a short lesson on design today, and we can maybe take our key tab designs a wee bit further and you might come up with some better ideas than the ones you've currently got, so hopefully that was something good. I've left examples of what I'm doing at the front so that if you're not quite sure what you've seen on the screen, you'll be able to go and have a wee look at the examples. Sorry about for the funny angle here. I tried a recording earlier and I was completely upside down, so this is at least a wee bit better. I'll be thinking about you all of the day while I'm away. I'm missing you loads already, but I'll see you next week. Okay, let's get rid of this and let's actually do some lessons here. Okay, 2 seconds. Here we go. Right, hopefully now you can see the piece of paper in front of me and it's quite clear. Right, wee bit of revision first. So the first thing we remember doing is few weeks ago actually, we did this. We took our pencil for a walk around the paper. There you go. Took my pencil for a walk and then we had a look at that and we picked out some shapes that we thought might make a nice key tab. I see a lovely one here. I always go for this shape when I do this. So here's a nice, it's kind of like a teardrop shape, isn't it? Pick it out in a colour and then we're going to render that. So we're going to go dark tone to light tone. Okay. Across the page just to pick that out. So dark to light, using different tones with our pencil like you've been shown before. Okay, there we go. Just a rough one for you. And that gives me one design. And if I'm right, you should have a sheet that looks like this, okay, with stuff that you did earlier, with lots of different shapes that could potentially become a key tab. So that's one set of designs, but there's other things we can do. New sheet paper, remembering all those straight line techniques that we did before, and we're going to draw a series of overlapping squares and rectangles. So just watch. So here, okay, there's a nice big rectangle. I'm going to overlap another one. Using all my straight line techniques, I might overlap another one over here. I've just realised you probably can't see this. I'll do them a wee bit darker. So one. You obviously won't draw them as dark as this because you're doing guidelines. But guidelines are no use obviously for the recording I'm doing just now. So here we go. I'll just go over these again. Here we go. Lots of overlapping rectangles and squares. Stick to straight lines for this one. So you've got a nice curvy one. Whoop, that went a bit wobbly there, didn't it? That's fine. I think I'm going to have one coming between these two. Like that. Okay. I could do loads, but that's enough to get you started. And then we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to take a colour and we're going to pick out shapes that might be quite interesting. I see quite a nice one here. Look at this. So I'm taking my green here and I'm picking out this shape in here. Can you see that? And then I'm going to take that pencil technique and I'm going to make a nice job of going from dark to light tone. That'll be a bit darker in there, won't it? Dark to light tone like this. Okay, because the idea is it's going to look a bit like shiny plastic. So there we go. And there's my first shape picked out. Let's have a look. Let's have another one. Let's take another colour and find another shape. What have I got? There's a really obvious one, but it's not very exciting, so I might add in something here. So you can add in as you go along. If your shape just needs a wee bit more, and there's another shape there. So I could do this one in red. Put them in different colours so they stand out from each other. Like so. And then again with the colour. Now, when you've finished that, you should then have a page that looks a bit like this. Okay, like that there. Okay, so here I've got 4 different designs for key tab. There are more. I could go in here, I could do something on the end here. There's a nice one here that I've not picked out that I quite like. And that, compared to that, now I've got, well here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different designs so far from a key tab that I could choose. Okay, so that's great. So I'm going to get your teacher now to pause this and give you 10 or 15 minutes to come up with some straight lines and boxes all overlapping, and then pick out shapes and give them a render until you've got at least 4 more designs, but this time it's a bit more angular. Okay, so you go ahead and do that now. Right guys, so by now you should have 2 sheets with 2 very different kinds of designs for key tab, and we're going to try another method of creating designs. Okay, this one is slightly trickier, but you should be able to do this. So this one's using circles. Now can you remember how we did a circle? I'm just going to quickly go over that. And again, I'll do it dark so that you can see it on this, but you make sure your construction lines are nice and light. And it's this circle, yeah, it's that circle. So the circle, we drew a square, all freehand. Then we went across the corners, whoop, a little bit wobbly there, across the corners, and then we did across the middle like that. Remember, your circle has to touch, this one's going to be a bit more of an ellipse, but that's okay. It has to touch, if you imagine it's a clock, it's got to touch 12, 3, 6 and 9, and the circle has to touch those points, and then it comes through about a third of the way down each line, and then you can draw in your circle. Or in my case it's an oval, or in graphics we call it an ellipse. And there's the first one. Actually on the camera it looks more like a circle. Then we're going to overlap one. So this is a wee bit trickier, but let's just use one of the squares that I've got, one of the corners that I've got here, and overlap a circle. So overlap, just the same technique, corner to corner, across the middle, 4 outside edges, and then, and when you're drawing it, try and curve between. Then I'm going to get my circles to overlap, there, and there. Okay, let's draw another one in here. So here's another one. So you need to be really careful that these are really light. You should get quicker at this. There we go. And there's another one. You can see the overlapping. And I'll do, oh I don't know now, I think I'll have one in this corner here. See how much quicker I've got at doing this, and that's just practice. Another circle, like so. Okay, and I could go on and do lots of circles. When you've got a whole load of circles, we're going to do the same technique again. I'm going to take a colour pencil and we're going to pick out a shape, and I can see one here that I'm quite excited about right now. Look at this shape here that I've got. I'm going to pick this out. I'm going to go that way. Yeah, well, I'm going to go that way. Look at that. That's a cracker of a shape there. Okay, and then I'm going to do the usual. I'm going to render that. This, I have to say, I think is my favourite out of all the techniques. I love doing the circly one because I think the shapes are the most interesting shapes. You might think differently. And there you go, look at that cracking wee shape that I've got there. Once you've done that, you should have a page that looks like, and I had them all laid out here. Here we go, are you ready for it? That looks like that, okay? With lots of, and there you go, I've got 4 again, and there's still shapes in there. There's a lovely shape in here, look at this one. Okay, so there are lots of shapes there. You could also, I'm subtracting a lot of shapes here, but you could also add as well. I think this is all subtraction, but this one here I've added on this little bit. Probably harder to cut out in the workshop, but it depends on your ability with a saw. But that's quite interesting in itself. So your teacher's once again going to pause for about 15 minutes. 10-15 minutes, depends how long it takes you to do it. and you're going to create a whole load of circles overlapping, and you're going to pick out again at least 4 different shapes, see what you get, render them in 4 different colours, and then you will have yet another set of designs. So you will then have some funky square designs, some fancy circle designs, and of course back to our pencil for a walk, wherever it's gone. I think it's on the back of one of these sheets, and some pencil for a walk designs. And you will have a whole load of designs to choose from. And then from there, you can have a look at your template you made last week and think, actually, I've got a better design here. Maybe that's what I'm going to use. So let's go 10-15 minutes and come up with a set of circle designs. Okay, you're back. Hi. I kind of want to do that and go hello. I have no idea what that's going to look like. There I am. Hello. Sorry, I can't help myself. Right, let's get back to what I should be doing. Okay, the next stage is to take designs and maybe slightly develop them a wee bit further. So how would I do that? Let's pick something from each of my design sheets. So the first one I'm going to get is my pencil for a walk design. And let's see, what do I like there? Well, I quite like this. I've told you before, the simpler the design, the easier it is to cut, the better finish you're going to get on it, and actually you'll get a more successful key tab. So I'm going to just redraw this, and I'm going to just trace it, because I can. I'm going to trace that one there, and there you go. I've got a nice simple design. One thing designers often do is they take out a design, and then they alter one thing. So let's have a look at this. It's almost like a wee kidney bean or something here. I'm going to alter that. What am I going to do to make it look a wee bit different? I'm going to take the same shape, and I think I'm going to draw that shape. You can trace it again if you want. I'm going to curve the edge, but I'm going to do something like that. I'm going to just pull it in a wee bit there, so it's the same shape, but I've just changed it a bit slightly. I still prefer that one. Okay, let's do it with another shape. Let's take one of these shapes and see what I can do with it. I'm going to go for the green one, I think, because to me it looks probably the easiest. This one here, if you were making that out of plastic, that's likely to break off, isn't it? That one's okay, but you've got a bit sticking out, maybe not be comfortable in your pocket. These two are probably a bit better. In fact, no, I'm going to go with the green one. I'll stick to the green one. So I'm going to trace that again. What have I got? Tracing that, sort of. Yep, it goes like that. And then what can I alter? I've missed a bit of it, look, it went like that as well. Couldn't quite see that there. So it's got a bit there too. That's fine. So let's alter one thing. I just think it's a bit square and a bit sharp. So if I just took that same shape but rounded it, what would I get? So I'm going to very lightly just draw this shape that I've got here. I've kind of drawn it a bit wrong, so I'm going to go in like that. Across here, down here, and it goes up here. But what I'm going to do is I've drawn it lightly, but I'm going to round it. So it's the same shape, but I'm going to round all the edges. Looks a bit like a puzzle piece in a jigsaw, actually. And I have to say, I quite like that, and I like that better than that one. Okay, so that's quite a nice shape. I'm quite, right now I'm thinking if I'm going to make a key tab, that's the one I quite like. And I would put the hole there. It almost looks like a wee animal. Quite like that. Okay, so that's that. And the last one was my circles. And I did say to you that I like circles. So here we go. Here's my shape of circles. What shape will I go for? Oh, I don't know. It's tricky. I think I'm going to go for the blue one. Too much choice. I've spoiled for choice here with all these design shapes. So it goes like that. Comes round here. I'm just checking, it's got a wee notch out of it here, and it comes down here, round here, and that's the shape I've got. Now that's okay, but let's just change one thing. What could I change? So if I do it again, I'm going to just draw it out roughly. That's my shape. There, like that. What could I change? This wee pointy bit is a bit that I'm not so keen on, because I just think sharp, pointy bit, not so sure. So I quite like that. I'm just going to curve things. I'm going to bring that point and curve it a bit. Curve there, curve it there, and make that slightly rounder there. Now look at that, I've taken the same shape, but I've just curved it a little more, and I quite like that. Still my favourite, quite like that. When you've decided, this is a shape where you'll decide your final shape. So if you decide a shape you want, I really like this one, then take your final shape and give it a beautiful render. Take your time. This is your final design, and give it a nice render. I might go dark to light again over here just because it's quite big. So I can do that. Remember all those different techniques you had, different ways you could show the highlight. So I'm going to have mine here. So I'm going to go dark to light here, and dark to light on this side as well. Here we go. It's okay, I'm going over the edges, but that's absolutely fine. Just keep everything going in the one direction, and then just outline it with the colour that you're rendering it in. And beside it, when you're done, 2 seconds, I'm going to give it a nice outline in the blue here. And beside it, just write my final design. You can underline that. I'm rather pleased with that. So that's what I'm going to be making in the workshop with you next week. Have a lovely weekend, guys, when it comes, and you can now work on your final design. So it's taking a shape from each, changing one thing, and see if there's anything on that page that you want to make. Okay, bye! Notice.